Howdy, partner. All right. So I have really become a fan of game books, right? These special game books where you have a book and there's a game contained within it. So I think it allows the designer to create a game at an affordable price, get it out to the public where a gamer can now invest in a game, have a game for a little bit less of an investment with a little bit of sweat equity in terms of putting it together, right? So what I have here is Bite the Bullet. You Are a Legend, a game book by Frederick Moyerson, and then the expansion from that here, Volume 2. Very excited about these. Pick these up, and they are a game that you can use. Comes with tokens or standees. Book 2 brings you additional size maps, larger maps, where you can actually use 28 millimeter miniatures if you got them. I have grown to like the smaller maps, and I'm all about that smaller footprint, reduced size footprint, and have looked at procuring some 15 millimeter miniatures, and I'll show you those here in a little bit. But so that's what this was. And so I'm not a big fan, haven't been a big fan of these types of books in terms of cutting apart the book, right? I always look and see if there's a PDF first or what's available so that I don't have to cut apart the whole book or any of the old book. But there is now a PDF available for Bite the Bullet, but I had already jumped and purchased this project and these books from Amazon. You can still get them from there. You can also get now the PDFs from the Wargaming Vault. So check that out. I'll leave a link in the description down below. So you can check that out. But I decided, since I already had the books, I was going to go ahead and try and experiment and just embrace cutting apart the book. And so that's what I did. I cut apart the whole book with thoughts of just rebinding it, etc., and reassembling it all into a rule book plus a campaign solo book. So without further ado, let's take a look and see where we are. And of course, I had to also include a box. This is a Destiny's box, right? And I love these boxes. I think that they are the best boxes for additional, P&P type games, because they have this really cool scrolling on the sides here. And you can see the other labels they put on there, even on the sides here. You can line it up. So typically I would spray paint these boxes before applying the labels, but with the Destiny's boxes, you don't really need to do that. So I put together my own sort of interpretation of the book and of the artwork. Look at those guys getting ready to bite some bullets. There you are. So here we go. So now what do we have here? This is Bite the Bullet Scenario 18. This is a test scenario that I am helping Frederick out with, and I'm excited to get into that. We've got some extra maps, and these maps are for Scenario 16, which I downloaded from BGG, so I'll put that together here in a little bit. But let's take a look at the rule books here first. And so here we've got the rule books, right? So now the rule book here is I bound it, of course. I feel like it just reads better, feels better in the hand, and then here it just talks a little bit about the designer and the preface there, and looking for feedback too. So really well done. I think that explanation on how to assemble things, kind of the materials that you're going to need, and then here we are getting into the game rules. So this game kind of falls in line with maybe a slightly advanced beginning game, I might say, in terms of a skirmish type game. I think there's enough depth here to keep old grognards satisfied with the amount of depth that's involved in this, yet also have enough opportunity for newer players to wrap their head around that skirmish game type of a scenario, type of a situation. Here we have terrain effects, how the course of the game works, concealed counters, and this is a fun aspect of the game. I really like this in terms of like a fog of war kind of a thing. I'll show you what I did with the tokens in terms of that. Here you can see that there's a character sheet that's all put together, and that's how they are packaged here. So, so the rules are done really well, pretty straightforward, and haven't had any challenges in terms of understanding the rules. So, solo game example right here. And so I'm all about the solo play and how it all works out. There's rules for horses. That was the big draw for me, was all about that. Overview of tables and campaign mode, quick start guide, things that I put together in some cards, which I have right here. And the campaign log, the overview of the tables, quick start guide. Here, I just made these handy references in addition to what's in the book so that I can have that ready and accessible. And then lastly here, the scenarios and campaigns. So the book, the main book, book 1, comes with 8 scenarios, and then the book 2 takes you from 9 through 15, and then scenario 16 is a scenario that has the big 3 map board. And so the way that this is going to work out is you'll get sort of an introduction, and then you have the map over here like that. And here you go. So I really like this format for it, and decided to, instead of having loose maps, have them connected to their actual scenario. And then if I need to create sort of a separate, maybe a on-the-cuff kind of a map, I can always do that later and print some things out, and perhaps I will go in and buy the map pack to do that with. But so that's it, the scenarios book, right? The rules book, and the artwork on here I just kind of put together myself, and sort of my own interpretation of what I felt like in terms of aesthetic, So there is that. Now, let's just take a look at this, right? Scenario 16 here kind of gives you a map layout that looks like this, right? So you're going to have map 16 in the middle, and then we're going to have this guy. So it's going to look somewhat like this, right? And here we go. Let's make some space. Just like that. So very excited to get into this scenario, and playing in the full town does give me that sort of Shadows of Brimstone vibe, right? And so I'm really excited to see if I can't find some more sort of mythos type Cthulhu, Dark Brimstone kind of scenarios that I can run with this. And maybe, Tiny Western RPG has some things like that. Anyway, I digress. Maybe Fred Moyerson, if you're listening, will put together something that's more on the mythos portion of adventure. All right, so let's take a look at see what else is in the box. So this is it, you guys. So let's take a look at these miniatures first. These are 15 millimeter miniatures, and I felt like that was a good sizing, small enough to handle, right? And I think that they look good on the board. You can see that there, like so. Here we have the tokens. I'm bringing this out too so that you can kind of see. I did a little upscaling on the wagons. So here's wagon up in here, and so you can kind of see what that looks like in terms of the bad guys, of the lawmen, etc., running at each other, and then of the horses as well. I felt like these were good. So upscaled those a little bit, added these 15 millimeter miniatures, and I'm very excited to get to some play with these here. So the way that this works is the game actually comes with some tokens and some standees that you can make. And so I did not make the standees because I did go ahead and procure the miniatures. But now the tokens I also included on circular wooden discs here. And so if it's a scenario is calling for a certain character, like this is Brad as an example. So Brad, I can stand Brad up on top of his token like so, or I can just have it alongside like this. And the other piece, I think I talked about this fog of war thing a little bit in the rules, right? So you have these tokens 1 through 12, and so you mix these up and you spread them out. And so the way that this works is your outlaws will have, you're going to have initiative tokens. And that's what basically these are, right? So, and they have an initiative marker number here, right? So I love this concept because as the lawman, if you are here and one of these initiative tokens is moving and you roll a dice to determine its movement, once you have visual contact, then you then flip it over, right? And also, as an example, if this was 2, I'm going to grab a 2, well, here's 2. It's Ron. So Ron suddenly appears. Boom. And so now you are, actually I took my lawman, didn't I? Ron suddenly appears and there you go. And so now you're off and running. Now what are you going to do? You're going to run, you're going to shoot him based on your action points that you roll up for each round. So anyway, that's kind of a very basic overview and kind of a real quick snapshot at all of the components in here. And just kind of an overall view of the build. Would love to see and hear if you guys have played this game at all and what your thoughts are. And I'm excited about it. So would love to hear what you say.